Hello Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Hi guys, Natalie here, All for United, with Deborah. Deborah's part of the Barmy Army, the vice chair. I'm the chair. I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, Deborah. People who've been watching this show will know that I was sitting there, and we've talked about it on our WhatsApp. We talked about it on Twitter. Conditions. They were at Lee, and all the injuries that we had during the thing, it's all down to that. And they got themselves in Carrington. And then I saw Emma Sanders saying, oh, we're still negotiating. I'm thinking, what are you negotiating for? Why is she having to fight to get what's right? And she's not the type of person people say, oh, she's walking away and on to the next, and she failed. I agree with her when she says they failed, but when you're working with your hands like this, of course she's going to fail, And I don't see where it goes now. I just see this team. I was a bit worried about it at the start. What is this team? Why have we got it? Why have we brought it in now? Oh, they're going to do this. They're going to do that. I think she was sold a dream too. Change the face of women's football forever. And we see why we have the protest. You see why you see the green and gold in the corner. This is why. She's not the kind of person who's going to take this. And I'm like this. Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice now. I can really hear it in your voice. And I think that I was given the heads up on this last week, I think. And when I first heard it, I thought, nah, not going to happen. And actually, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, actually, maybe there are signs that this could happen. And I think for me now, I'm a great one in football. I always think that we move on. You and I have watched the men's team for long enough to know that the men's team has lost some incredible players, and yet we've moved on. Perhaps we've not moved on in the way we wanted to, but we've carried on. The big question now, Casey's gone. Come Sunday, she's gone. It's what we do next. We looked at Arsenal when Montemuro decided he was leaving, and we were like, oh, what's going to happen there? We're in the same position. If anything, we're in a worse position because they at least have a lot of established squad. They have an established squad. Yes, they might be about to lose that nucleus, but where does this go for us now? Has our recruitment been based around Casey being the manager? This hasn't just happened overnight. So what's happening in terms of recruitment? But for me, the big question is, who's next? What's next? Casey, thank you very much. We had 2.5 great years. Sunday, Mark and I, we're going to have that flag up for her on Sunday. We're going down to Lee on Friday. We're going to get those flags up. Hers will be in prime position. She's still our manager. Thank you for the memories. But what's next?
Listen, I did a show on here and I said, there's whispers over Jackie. And she then said, Jackie's staying next year. And it's just... But this was happening all along. I heard, like you, a couple of rumours. There's talk, NWSL club, American club.
Yeah.
It might be Angel City. Portland Thorns are just losing their manager. She could go there. But I think it's not about... I think it's about more, Deb. Sorry, I think it's more than just, I've had a really great offer from the America. If things were good here, she wouldn't be going America. I'm seeing comments. I saw Mark saying, listen, how have they allowed this to happen? Because let's not beat around the bush. I think they've not sort of forced her, but it's training conditions. Frozen pitches in January. They're training in a little tent. They're made to feel like they're secondary class citizens. And, where do we go? Who knows? Because they're going to have to pull out something major. I know everyone knows, and we've already said it. Wardy, I've already tagged her. I've already got in her DMs, right? You better be ready. But the thing is, though, Wardy's a young manager. So then what? Wardy's already experienced this kind of tomfoolery with Birmingham. But when I was hearing all this, the same tomfoolery doesn't mean that, you know, they care because it's Man United or because they put a couple of mil in. Doesn't mean nothing. You know, I just, she's not going to Arsenal. Listen, people. She said she's going to an American club.
Yeah, she's going abroad.
But they shouldn't have let it happen. I can't believe it.
I think that's the question that's got to come out of this in terms of not just who comes next, where we go next, but what then needs to shift. You and I both know we've been in a position where we've sat down with representatives of the club, and you and I both know that we will be asking that question. We will be asking how this was allowed to happen, because this can happen again and again and again unless somebody does something, somebody steps up, something changes. But yes, they're training at Carrington, but there's not the space for them. They're in a glorified marquee. Mm-hmm. There's not the space for them. But this again all comes down to the fact that the Glazers haven't invested in Carrington. Mm-hmm. And they haven't invested in a ground that the girls can have and the under-23s can have that's more local to get more fans in. They've certainly not invested in the training facilities. We know they've not invested in Old Trafford. So actually, we are 3 years into the project, but we're further behind than we actually were. Casey, when she took on the job now, she talks about 5 years. 5 years. And I'm not bigging myself up, but she did look me in the eye back in February, I want to say. When we were putting the flags up, it was before the Villa game, so I might have my dates wrong there. And she said she was thanking us for putting the flags up, saying she's really sorry that we've not been in at all this season. And we said to her, it's been great so far. We've enjoyed it. We've had some great moments. And she said, Champions League. That's what we're going for, Champions League. And I can honestly say, when she said it, I thought that's a really bold statement to make. You've nailed your colours to the mast. You've got to do it now. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I give her credit. She's owned it. She owned it. But beyond this now, Casey's gone. Thank you. Thanks for the memories. What's next? And in terms of not just the team, but the club as a whole, this is a bigger issue, I think.
Listen, you said to me long before, you said Arsenal have got established, but Arsenal have got established links through like their academy, through like, it's been set up for a while. The academy knows where they're going. They've been running their club for ages. So yeah, Joe goes. It was a massive shock to everyone, but it's not like this. This woman runs our club. This is like a Fergie operation. Let's not get it twisted. And the fact that, she's having to fight and do this when they were sitting top. Let's not get it twisted. We were top in January, and this is when all this frozen pitch and all this at LSV came about. So for me, in 2018, that's a statement that I've brought up time and time again, and even brought it up last year. So this is not something new that I'm bringing up. They were told when we've got this women's team and they're going to be at a redeveloped Cliff. If they started redeveloping the Cliff in 2018, this pandemic was coming 2020 and there wouldn't be no issue. And they would have themselves in a bubble and all this, and it'd be theirs. But the Cliff ain't good enough.
Now I'll tell you
Little John Road ain't good enough, and Carrington not big enough.
Right, Carrington not big enough. Littleton Road not suitable enough. When all's said and done, they'd have to put a lot into it. The Cliff, they haven't touched. And before anybody wants to come on and go, how do you know? Last night on my way home, I drove past. I was on Littleton Road. And the Cliff is also local to me. And out of pure curiosity, I took my niece and nephew down there a couple of months ago just to say, this is what the Cliff is. This is a part of United history. They've not been touched. So 2018, we're going to develop the Cliff. We're going to do this. The 18s were playing at the Cliff during the season because that was the only place they could play. It looks like a park. There's nothing substantial for them there. So we are 3 years into a project, but we're further behind than we were when we started. I almost feel like, in a way, we're going to have to start all over again.
Oh, 100%. It's that was it, mate. I said it with Emma Meredith Sean, who's got the City podcast, and I said it's two ways for both of our clubs. One of them's going to go on and have the Champions League and do this. I didn't even think Arsenal would be in the position, but I said it's left or right. Which way do you want to choose? Your destiny's in your own hand. We're going to either go up or we're going to either, well, not down, but stagnate, go to the side. And for me, people saying this is she's a big part of people leaving, players coming. San Diego, she's the lead candidate. So I know it wasn't Arsenal. Come on. But for me, the only manager I know is Carla Ward. She's the same sort of DNA. She does it all like, the players believing in her. And I feel like, listen, I'm not saying that it's all this training. There's moments in this season, Arsenal game, and I just think what you're playing at, Reading, Brighton, they weren't even up for it. So I think, she just has to take some responsibility for it. But like you say, if in 2018 you were promised something and then 3 years later it's still not here and you're fighting to get what's right, she's not the kind of person who's going to, I don't think she'll say a bad word, but I'm telling you, all this is going to come out now, all of it. And I just think, we've been saying it, we've been saying what's going on with and people be like, you can't, just don't ask. Why the hell not ask? And I just think, I don't know. I see a comment there, Amy Webb. She left Chelsea because of the training situation as well.
Charlton.
Charlton.
She left Charlton. For us about Charlton, and she said because they changed their terms as well. And she just said, "Look, I'm not having this." She does stand by her principles. She is a proud woman. I think, from a curiosity point of view, I'm kind of surprised, but I'm also then not surprised about her principles. I think the one thing, and this sounds really, really, it just sounds like she's got no ambition. But the one reason why I thought she might have stayed with us was with the family. I thought, get the kids settled. They've just started, well, not just started school. They've got themselves settled in school. Families are here. They've had a year without seeing most of their family. So maybe that would have been sufficient. But you know what? She's going abroad. She's going to the States. And good luck to her. Good luck to her. I hope she's brilliant out there. I'm sure we'll all be keeping an eye on how they do. And I just think now there's so many questions, but
I said it at the start. Why have we got this women's team? Why? Answer the question. I mean, there's talk, Joe Glazer's coming in. Why have you brought in? Why is there no resource? Why have we got it? Just for a tick box? I don't want it then. Not in a horrible way. We only came into women's football, Deborah, because of Man United. This Barmy Army and all this kind of energy came because of Man United. Not because I'm a massive women's football fan. So why have we got it then? What's the point? That's what I don't understand. And I'm seeing a question down there, but go on, Deb.
You and I were talking last night about the budget. We were talking about the budget for the club. And we said, and Casey's admitted this, we have less of a budget than Chelsea, City and Arsenal. I don't know which order they come in. We're guessing Chelsea are top. But we don't have the same budget as a top three club. And yet, that is our aim. Now, forgive me, but you go and look at the Premier League, and yes, you've got your Leicester. Yes, you might have a random team that does well. It's really, really rare for a team to have a much smaller budget and yet not, and yet get up there. What Casey was being asked to do with her limited budget, and like you say, one hand behind her back, here's a really, really cool. I went to do flags one time and heard somebody say, "Oh no, sorry, the heating's gone." What? The heating's gone? The rugby guys couldn't
Manchester
play there.
United. This is Manchester United we're talking about, people. This is not, Birmingham. Not I'm trying to be horrible, but this is not even Manchester City. This is Manchester United. These owners, I don't even know what. It's not even just. I just think the whole club. I just think why are we here? There's a question there. John Murtagh was considered key. He was part of it. Yes, he was. We both know it. We've both met John. We've both spoke to him a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know what.
The only
like
thing
when people say this and that about him. I don't know.
The only hope I've got in terms of all of this now is we heard the rumours a week or two ago. Now, if we heard the rumours a week or two ago, you can guarantee that this decision was made way before that. So if that decision was made a while ago, then all I can say is,
what have you been doing?
There should have been plans that have been put in place. Correct. And if they know players are leaving, then who's coming in? Who's the manager that's coming in? Who are you selling to those players? Who are you selling the manager?
What I'll say now, Deb, we know that the manager, this and that, but the thing is, who wants to come in if they know that they're going to be underfunded and with their hands tied behind the back and training facilities not good enough? And like I said, I think our board, so people like John Murter, no offence to him, great, I think he's all right, but who knows now? Ed Woodward, they don't know nothing about women's football. She was the woman who knew everything about women's football. She brought in all the 21 names. She knows who's good. She's the one who's brought in On a Battle, you know, for me, player of the season. She's the one who brought in Jackie Cronin. These players all came for her. And the thing is, there'll still be players who will be here. You know, the red flag keep flying high. It'll keep going, you know, but who knows about women's football in our club? No one.
Absolutely. And this is, you know, we heard it. You've only got to go back.
It's the same about when Fergie left. Who knew about football in our club? No one. So they don't even know about men's football. Maybe John Murter knows a bit about men's football now, but they don't even know about men's football. Who knows about women's football?
You look at Arsenal, and Arsenal had Wenger for so many years, and he had complete control. And you look at where they are now. And if you've got a manager who has complete control, the moment they've gone, the vacuum that leaves can't just be replaced necessarily by one person. What you say, though, about who will come in now, regardless, and this is me being arrogant, we're still Manchester United. It's still a big name. And anybody who wants to be a manager will still fancy that role. And let's be completely honest. Now that Casey's come out and said these are the conditions, or it's been said that those were her issues, any new manager coming in is going to go, I don't want that anymore. You've got to fix it. So actually, in a way, a new manager has an advantage because they can dictate terms better than Casey can. When Casey applied for the job, Nat, that documentary that MUTV put out that you and I so lovingly adored that night, there's a point on it where I think it's Steve DeVille says, when Casey applied, and we've heard various things about, was she asked to apply? Did she apply late? They knew they were getting somebody who knew women's football. They know whatever they've put in place in the last 2 years, because it really is the last 2 years, they've got to put something similar in place. They've got to make whoever is in charge now, there's got to be a bigger team around them. We know that's happening. But we've also lost the last 12 months at least because of a pandemic. We're not starting, and this isn't just somebody saying, right, new manager, off you go, here's your team. We're going to lose a lot of players. We've talked about it. You and I have talked about it. Barmy Army Podcast talked about it. Lauren James is probably going to go. We believe Jackie Cronin's staying. Tobin and Kristen have gone. Who's coming in? Who's coming in to push us to that next level? But also, here's the other thing. How many players are now under threat because a new manager will look at them and go, see ya.
Yeah,
this is an uncomfortable
definitely.
time for a lot of players, but maybe actually that's what's been playing on their minds recently as well.
So I know new people are jumping in and just asking what's going on. For me, Casey Stoney's left Man United. It's just come out now. We don't know yet whether she'll be there on Sunday. For me, I don't even care anymore. Not in a horrible way. She's apparently left because of training facilities, something I've talked about on this show before. She's going apparently to San Diego. There's a big project there. They'll probably be backing her properly. We're just talking about whether, you know, the lack of facilities, that's what's come down to. That's what's being reported. The training issue. We've seen the move about in the winter months between Cliff, LSV, Carrington, Cliff, LSV, Carrington, and then finally they're in Carrington. Casey said to Emma Saunders, we don't know where we're going to be next year. We're still negotiating what I think. You know, the new manager must argue for money to spend, proper facilities. I just think the fans as well. To be honest, you know, like you just said there, that, you know, she had, I can't even breathe. I feel, you know, they're just not, you know, Jackie's going. Potentially, there was whispers of it. LJ's going. Tobin and Kristen's going. Are Tobin, Kristen, LJ, are they all going because they knew about this long time ago? You know, that's what makes me think. Because before Christmas, there was heavy talk of that they're staying and they're going to sign a new deal. Then suddenly it's changed. And yes, we're not in Champions League, but they didn't join us in Champions League. Did suddenly it change because she was saying, listen, I know it's not good enough to them. They're saying this is not good enough. And she's saying, I know. And you know, are Tobin and Kristen going to go to San Diego with her?
But with all due respect, Nat, they came over when we were at Leigh. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but look, if the players have known this for a while, great. Let's get it out in the open. Let's do it. It's happened. The worst thing is when there's these things that hold people back. And now it's happened. Someone's saying there that the players have started posting on social media. Great. Let's do it. Let's sort it out. And then let's get Sunday's game out of the way. Come Monday morning, let's start. Let's start afresh. New manager, new players. Get rid of whoever was leaving. Let's just clean sweep. And you and I will have that conversation when we sit down with the club and say, what are you doing? Yeah, we've got all these other issues we want to sort out. Yes, as fans, we want to know, can we sort this out when we get back into games? Can we do this? But what we also want to know is, how are you best supporting the club? And actually, maybe that's not even something we wait for a meeting for. Maybe that's an email that goes out tomorrow. What's happening? At the moment, there's a distraction about the men's side because everybody seems to think because the men's team was involved in the ESL, that's where the problems are. This is a club thing. This is a club from top to bottom, from the men's team right down to development foundation teams. And the women's team are just any other aspect of that. They are dragged into this mess. They are part of the situation and they need to fully invest. They need to deliver on their promises. We need a training ground that's suitable. We actually need a stadium that's going to get people in, that's not in the middle of nowhere. So the promises they've got to be acted on now. Can't keep doing this.
Or, you know, some kind of transport link, some kind of something, some kind of push, some kind of initiative to get get season ticket holders from Old Trafford into LSV. There's nothing. There's no, you know, you barely even know that you have a women's team. You look at our app, Deborah, you know.
I know, we're going through
it. It's not even mentioned, you know, and I just think the women play and you wouldn't even know. The men play and it's got all these update stats and everything. Every 2 minutes, the men play, you're hearing updates. And you know what? She's probably looking at us and going, and we're saying we need more, we need this. She's probably thinking, you know what, they're right. They do need more. Where's the updates? How do we know what's going on? The only update that we get that's comprehensive is her on a Friday. That's when we know when everything's going on. Other than that, we don't get anything. I mean, guys, keep putting a comment saying, tell us what you think. For me, it's not about San Diego, Angel City. It's about Man United. They had it. And they've just not respected this women's team. And she's walked.
It's sad. And actually, this. I've just had a message from somebody who's not even a United fan, but they're saying to me, what's going on here? What's the situation? Why? It just seems so out of the blue. And I think that, I think it's taken the wind out of all of our sails. I've joked with Mark, who's doing the Barmy Army podcast tonight. I said, whatever your plan was, that's out the window. So they'll be doing at least an hour on this because it's such a massive issue. Casey was the bedrock of the women's team. Casey was the first name we got. And even those of us who didn't know women's football so well knew Casey's name. That was a massive appointment. And for whatever reason, she's gone. What I'm concerned about, and I go back to this, absolutely, Glazers, what I'm concerned about, though, is that this isn't something that just gets fixed with a new managerial appointment. This highlights there are big problems within the club, full stop. And actually, that's the bit that saddens me. Yeah, I'm sorry Casey's gone. I'm really sorry Casey's gone. I had a lot of time and respect for her. It's the reasons. It's the reasons, and where do we go now? And actually, this makes the summer massive. We've got to get a new manager in. We've got to get new players in. We've got to change the ethos. We've got to change the philosophy. I know Van Gaal always loved his philosophy talk. We've got to change so much. I feel like we're having to start all over again in a way, because we are about to lose a lot of players. We're now losing our manager. We don't have the facilities for these players. So actually, how much further on are we from June 2018 when this was all announced? And that's why I'm sad, because I actually thought in a way the women's team could be separate from whatever was going on with the men's team. But it just feels like they're part of the same issue. So we got to bang the drum about supporting this club. Yeah, Karen there saying it's make or break. I don't know if it's make or break, but I'm certainly not expecting the next season to be as positive as we thought it would be.
No, it's not make or break. It's not make or break, but it's just where we're going to go.
Messages are just buzzing, aren't they? It's everything.
This is what I'm saying. People are asking me what's going on. Were we expecting this? Yes, we were. Well, I don't know who you talk. Well, I just heard whispers. Deb's obviously heard whispers. I just didn't believe it, Deb, because like you, I thought she's got a family here.
She's got a family. The house has been being renovated. She's not going to walk away from it. And that's why actually I've got to have respect for her for being a woman of principle, for making the best decision for her and saying, I can't tolerate this anymore. And good luck to her. Good for her. I just think it's a shame, Nat, that we're not going to have one more chance to sing her name.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that I encourage anyone to ever gather anywhere, but if she, I don't know, if she's there on Sunday, I don't encourage everyone to be COVID safe, but my heart is broken because she wants this club. She is the Alex Ferguson. You know, there's no kind of two ways about it, and I'm just devastated. Someone else might be coming in from India. They see that's how big this club transcends. We've sat down and said, there's people from India messaging me, and this was from the start. This is when we were in the championship. This is when you couldn't watch games. People were messaging from all over, and people are saying, well, Honor, Jackie stay, TNC are gone, LJ. And I was thinking this the other night, regardless of it, I was thinking, LJ's going, TNC are going. What striker we got? Maybe Jane and Jess are going to go because, they've not played a lot. So then I'm thinking, that's 5 players up front. We need a whole new back line. We need a whole new forward line.
And that's the thing. If she's known this was happening, and we know Casey plans for the transfer window way in advance, did she bother planning? Are those deals done? Has anything fallen through because she's now moving on? Or is it somebody coming in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe, having to start from scratch when everybody else has already gone? I know you've been tweeting a lot today, Nat, about the transfers. Expect news, this is happening. This completely stops every bit of action we could have expected in terms of incomings. Outgoings will still happen.
Yeah.
I think as Reds, we're all mystified. We're all mystified. It's not one where, with the men, we're used to there being rumours. So-and-so's going to get the sack. So-and-so's going to leave. We don't get that with a women's game. Managers stay. They have poor results. They still stay. And as much as Casey took the blame for us not getting Champions League this year, that didn't mean we were thinking, get her out. Yes, there've been a few people saying she's got to take something on board. But I don't think there's a single Red who actually thought we want Casey out. Because the question is always, if not her, who?
Yeah, Namrat is here. Namrat. Welcome, Namrat, or anyone. She's been on before. Nam, talk to me.
No words. No words. God. I was actually just thinking right now, right? It's almost like 8 years back when Sir Alex, he announced that he's leaving. So he was the only Manchester United men's coach I had ever seen ever since I started watching football. and Casey is the only coach that I have seen ever since I started following women's football. And I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like this is hitting harder. I don't know.
Yeah, this is how it's affecting people, man. It's affecting people all over the world, and people are saying to me, "Oh, well, it would have been sorted. It would have." Well, surely the training facility should have been sorted in 2018 when they promised it. That's why I see. That's why I think it's just something that I saw coming. I knew there was issues. But I didn't think she'd walk. But at the same time, she's that woman. She's that stubborn woman.
She's achieved what she has because of who she is. We can't take the good without taking the bad, kind of thing. We can't take a driven football player / manager as she is now without all of the things that got her to the top of the game that now means she walks away. Yeah,
I mean, I saw there was even just the way that they're handling the awards. The women's team are considered other award, whereas the men's team vote for this. The men's team, it's all about the men's team, and I get it. Listen, the men's team bring in the most money. The men's team are what everyone looks for, but they have this hashtag all red, all equal, and for a lot, I've been questioning it.
It is. It's true. It's true. All red, all equal. Every element of the club is being ruined. There you go. We always thought the women's team were above that, or we were different. We weren't quite treated in the same way. Of course we are. We've not got what we need. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm seeing Josh said, should they have spoke up about it? Yeah, maybe they should have spoke up more. I remember Press's interview after, which game was it? Spurs, and she said there was disjointedness at the start of the year. And I knew this is what she meant, travelling between grounds and all this. That's why we fell off, potentially. I think I've also said the players need to take a bit of responsibility. She's taking it all. I'm a failure. But, she sent out strong enough squads against Reading and Brighton, regardless of what's going on. So
I kind of really respect her, though, for taking this decision, because we thought everything is great. United have been they've been sending some really big signals that they really support the women's team, and Casey's basically we were on the up, right? And she's basically come here and she has squashed all of that. All that, all red, all equal. It would have been really easy for her to keep quiet and kind of fulfill her contract and move out, but even though it might not be a big step in the overall football scene, but in women's football, this is basically everything, every image, every branding that United have built for the past 2 years. It's all down the drain.
John's come on now, guys. Me and Deb are going to have to jump out soon. But Deb, do you want to go?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks.
All right.
I think we're all just going to be processing this for a little while. I know obviously this is going to continue for a while. Barmy Army podcast tonight. Mark's on, I think, with Fiona and Ian. He's going to be continuing this. That's from 7 on the BA YouTube channel. As ever, right now, fans, we need to stick together. So if anybody wants to get involved with that, that'd be great. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you again. Cheers.
Join Barmy Army. I can only say this as a member. Get involved. If you are upset by this is a time when we need you more than ever. We need voices now. We need to increase our membership. When we go, or Deb goes, or whoever, and sit in front of that board, and we say we've got 100 members, but you've got 100 odd more people commenting on this post and liking it, and how many people watch this video? We need you all now to come. We've got membership forms. Send me a message. Send John a message. Barmy Army MUFC. Send them a message on Twitter, because the thing is, we've seen it with Must. Their memberships have gone up, but we need it, our voice as well. So if you're annoyed at this, I'm telling you, and I just want to thank Ben for letting me come on this show quickly, and I'm gonna have to go, but like John, I just want to sort of hear your thoughts and what you feel.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, and thank Deborah for joining you as well, mate. Next time we speak to her, look, I was listening to exactly everything that you said just on the way home. I've left work a little bit early just to try and jump on, just to say something. everything that you guys are saying, I agree with. I don't want to move on just yet. I know Deborah did say, okay, we need to move on from this. I'm not ready to move on just yet, if I'm honest. I think we've seen and heard enough in the last 3 or 4 months to discuss almost every week that something's going on behind the scenes, something's going on. And we've all said it, the players are rattled because they know something's going on. I said it feeds down. Remember my retail analogy when I said, if the area manager has a go at me as a store manager, it feeds down, this, that and the other. If I'm not in agreement with my bosses, my team can see it on my face. And the players have known, I know Deborah and yourself have said, oh, hello, Namrat, by the way, sorry, I've just come straight in, I've ignored Namrat, hope you're keeping well. They know, everyone's known that something's not been right since December, January. We've called it, and it's not just the injuries. And it's just so happens that it's in the statement, it's in the Telegraph, it's the training conditions. That's part of it. And I said to you as well, I've said it on this show, Casey, for the first time since she's probably been here, has not got her own way, and her own way was probably the right way. And she's fed up of just being taken the mick out of. And this isn't, we were against Player FC, we were against Manager FC, but I think at this moment in time, I'm here to defend the manager and say thank you very much, Kate Stone. You've done everything for us. I think you're probably being treated unfairly, in my opinion. I don't know everything, but I think, as what you said, Natalie, I was listening on the way home. If Kate was happy, she wouldn't have left. It doesn't matter what offers. If she was happy with the direction that this club was going, then she would have stayed and she would have created that empire and she would have created that dynasty. And now, with all these players, knowing that she's not going to be here, that's going to impact everything. It's going to impact players leaving. It's going to impact players coming in. And I've got no idea what the club's plans are to get through this, because I don't think we're going to be able to get anyone better than Casey at the moment. And also, I heard you talk about Sir Alex Ferguson era. Absolutely. No one at the clubs knows women's football as much as Casey Stoney. The same way as when Sir Alex was here, no one knew the ins and outs of the whole club as much as him. And her coming out to this club now isn't just a case of finding a new manager. It's finding a new manager that knows Manchester United. Emma's just
tweeted a full analysis. She said, expect more. We all know Emma knows everything. Expect more. Yeah? That's all I've got to say. I'm trying to see if she'll come on, but go on. A manager that comes to mind.
Well, we all know, don't we? When it comes to Manchester United and women's football, there's only one manager that does come to mind, and people aren't going to be happy to hear it. But obviously, I'll say it, Phil Neville. Is he going to come over? Possibly not. Is he front runner? Probably not. But I don't know what the other names are. Now, Marta, I haven't heard you speak yet, so please just carry on, mate.
I'm just shocked. I think it has been like 1 hour. I am still in shock. I told Nat I have absolutely no words. I mean, all those stories that I found of Casey and her home renovation, I never thought that. I thought she's going to stay here for so many years, but I don't know.
Classic side is at Miami City, and yeah, it might be, but let's be honest, if Man United come knocking, is he going to come back home? Well, I say home, I mean back to England. It's definitely possible. I don't want to bring his name into. I don't want to make him a front runner because I don't think that's right. But when I just said that you need someone who knows women's football and knows Manchester United, obviously his name comes to mind, doesn't it? What do you think about the timing then? So before the FA Cup, Nat, because to me it's is she wanted a bit of a goodbye, or is it just the fact that it's over with now, or was things going to be said before now? Is a new manager going to come in before now? Why now? Because for me, it's a bit weird to come in just before the last game.
I think they've known about it for a while, John. I think she's, the fact that she had to say, I'm negotiating and this and that. Tweeting players only found out about it an hour before. I think, well, how the hell does me, you, you know what I'm saying? And that's the shambles of it. How am I hearing whispers before the players? And this is the thing. They'll be pissed off about that then. We sort of sitting there going, oh, we knew. And then I'm seeing some people messaging me going, oh, well, when she's sitting here and this and that, San Diego. It's not, like I said, it's not about San Diego. It's about the fact that she's not getting what she needs and what she wants. And, yeah, obviously, we sat here and said Jackie's not signed a contract. It's over, mate. I'm not trying to be funny. We're starting from scratch now. This is 2018 all over again. I'm probably going too much. Like I said, for me, the only one who I want now is Carla Ward, because she's dealt with this kind of shirkers like this, so she'll be used to it. Just a bit more money, but that's the thing. Carla Ward, mate. That's all I have to say. And people will say, "Oh, she's not good enough," and you wouldn't have her anyway. I'd have her, mate, because she'll never say die. She will fight till the end. She brings in players; they will be fighting for her for no matter what. And it's not even great in Birmingham. So I'm telling you, you give her, like what Deborah says. There's people out there. You still give them the job, and they will still take it, no matter what Casey's just said. Casey is established, is top tier. But at the end of the day, is she really top tier? I think she is, but. She's only just started. Just because she's got 150 caps for Lioness or however many caps, doesn't mean she's a great manager. I think it's going to really show her out in NWSL how great she is. But for me, it's Carla Ward. It's Carla Ward all day long. She gets it. She knows it. She's got the grit, the determination. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough for her. But it's just Carla. And don't worry, man. I'll be on the Twitter to her. Don't worry. I'm not going to let her go. But I don't know. They might be better than Carla, but we don't know them. It's like when Namrat says, I don't know any other women's manager. And like you said, you only know Phil Neville.
My fear is that they'll probably sign a coach out of nowhere, which doesn't really fit with our playing style, which they'll probably have a very short-term signing. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they went for Phil Neville or Jill Ellis or like, they probably search for the best managers in women's football and they just randomly ask them to sign for us. That is my biggest fear, that they'll probably find somebody out of nowhere. They'll find somebody in panic.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what the Guardian says. They've said exactly what we said. Yeah. Tensions on the pitch have been building for a while. Training facilities were part of that. United said in 2018 they'd improving facilities at the Cliff, the former men's training, but that has not happened. I sat there and said it on this show, John. Yeah, 2018, it's not happened, and that's it. And she's gone. She's taking the piss. I'm not trying to be funny. You're taking the mick, and people will say, "Oh no, they are supporting." It's all right, just putting in an initial money. Yeah, you need to be putting in money time and time. This is supposed to be Manchester United. Yeah, people are saying Carla Ward's not good enough for this club. We'll come up with a name, because for me, even if she's not good enough for this club, I can't see them going out and getting a top manager. And I can't see any top manager putting up with them saying, "Oh, we're going to put money in. We're going to improve the facilities."
Because if that was the case, they would have kept Casey if that was the case. Because you'll come cheaper than all these top managers. And no one knows United better than Casey. And that goes on to what we said at the very start, Natalie. All we know of Manchester United women's team is Casey. And this is such a big thing for us now. It's like me growing up, you growing up, Nat, and probably yourself, and Martin, with your age as well. We only knew that the Sir Alex Ferguson era. All of a sudden now, this is a massive change, and there's comments on what's next for United. We don't know, because we don't know United women's team without Casey. All I know is that it's not going to be any better, because it's going to take a while for this new manager to come in to know the players. It's not like this new manager is going to come in, he's going to get a load of top-class players, because let's be honest, that's not United. I'm seeing Glazers out, 100%. Nat, on the way home, I heard you talking about green and gold. Obviously, this is another part of it, and we can just keep on going on and on and on. Look, Jockey Leah signed a long-term contract. Brilliant, but we need more than just Leah, don't we? And we've seen that this season. I still firmly believe that players knew about this, or players at least may not have formally been told, but informally they would have known this has been going on, I reckon, since January, February. I think that they've known that Casey's not been happy since December, January, and I think that's rubbed off on the pitch. I think it's rubbed off absolutely everywhere, and this is all come to a head now. But where we're going to go next, I've got no idea.
I think players will leave because we have a lot of players who only joined us because of Casey. We have Tobin Heath and Kristen Press join us because they had heard good things about Casey. People join, even in the championship. A lot of players, they dropped down a division because of Casey, because they had played with Casey. So I'm not really sure if, and considering this will be a big thing, right? Now this is going to reach almost everyone in women's football. And they're going to think that if it wasn't good enough for Casey Stoney, a person who basically built this team, why would they basically want to come here? Why would they want to come to Manchester United?
Yeah. You can only, that's the thing, unless if a manager comes straight in right away with a good reputation who can bring that pull, like I'll go back to the men's team. When Jose Mourinho came in, he had that aura about him, he could bring players in. Now, I don't know at the moment what manager could come in who can bring players with her or him who's going to make us any better than what we were this season. All we needed was just a few more additions. But obviously, the way Casey's now being treated by the looks of it, and let's be honest, this statement has just come out. I haven't read the club statement yet because it came out as I was driving. But the Telegraph one that I read just before I left, there's nothing mutual about that. That makes me think that there's some disagreement there between the manager and the owners, and it's quite open about it. If you ask me, what manager is going to want to come to a club that Casey was loved by the players, Casey was loved by the fans, Casey was Manchester United women's team. End of. What manager now is going to come in with these owners, with this direction? I'm completely... Jockey says Casey's built this team. She has. She started off with an original 21 where she got a random bunch of 21 players, some youth, some from our academy, some players who she played with Liverpool, a couple of good players from WSL, the came down or whatever, and then she built it again. And then she built it again. It was 1 point off Champions League, maybe 2 points for goal average. We could have kicked on. We talk about walk, jog, run, sprint, or whatever. We talk about all that. We was there, and now I'm a bit like you, Nat. This is a step backwards. And
final game, John. I don't care anymore. We should be in the stadiums already. Final game versus Leicester. For me, if you were happy to turn up which I was at the protest, I'm standing outside that ground from 9 o'clock. Me, don't care. And if she comes at 8, she'll have to leave some point. I don't care. I just don't care. And I mean, God.
Our voices will be heard there now.
Oh, 100%. I'll stand on the forecourt and sing her name all the way through it. There's
a comment
I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, John. I'm going to have to go, though, guys. And listen, message John. Message. Right, I think... But go on, John. Comment on the screen.
Yeah. No, there's a comment on the screen about Nicky Butt. 100%. He doesn't agree with the direction of the club. That's pretty much it, and that's why he left. You could talk about him being overlooked by Darren Fletcher. That's neither here or there. I mean, it could be part of it, but you don't just leave for that reason. That's if you want to shoot off. I'm going to come back into Namrat for a little bit just to end the show.
What I want to say, just to end the show, my final points before I shoot off. I started watching this women's team because I was getting disillusioned with the men. Jose was there, he was complaining a lot. And this women's team really helped me fall back in love with football. I'm someone who travelled everywhere watching Man United. It's a team I loved. I backed up Jose with what he said about he's coming to this club, but he's not been backed properly. And then I thought about this women's team. Am I going to start going? And they said to me, listen, it's going to be different here. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And the same things. What I asked at the start, I questioned myself, is there any point? Because it's the Glazers at the end of the day. And it's just come out and it's just the same story, men's and women's. Deborah said that they're running us to the ground, and it's sad, but it's true. And I don't know what I can say.
It's that level again, that's where we get with the men's team, is get to a certain level, and then they just don't want to get past that level, and they're happy to stay where they are. They're happy fourth, third, because it's a small progression, this, that, and the other. It's like, I'm happy now.
And they're happy having that small budget where they know they can make Champions League, but they don't want to put the money in to make it.
But we can be the best. We know we can be the best.
We could do it. We could do it all. We're on track to do it all. Tobin and Kristen came to this club for Casey Stoney. 2 World Cup winners, Olympic gold medalists. Yeah. For me, we're not going to get better than her. Doesn't matter. We can go again, but what's the point of going again if there's not the commitment to it? That's what I think. I don't know if you're just going to wrap up now, John, as it all.
Yeah, I'll give it another 10 minutes so we get the extra.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in live. If I was looking, 70-odd people watching. We really appreciate it. And, that's what we're here for, to just bring you the news straight away, right? Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
bye.
Thank you. you. Namrat, if we just have another 10 minutes, if you're free, just for another 10 minutes, I'm going to read a few comments on screen. I don't know if Matt Crane's watching, but if he is, please just jump on and have your say as well. There was a comment on screen. Here we go. About the biggest club in the world. Namrat, is this something that a biggest club in the world would do? Would the biggest club in the world let such a good manager? I'm not saying she's the best manager, but she's constantly improving, and there's probably only one manager in the country better than her, in my opinion. Would a big club like this really let this manager go?
I kind of remember that there was a podcast with Andy Mitten where he said that when people at the club, they interviewed Casey, immediately, people knew inside, they were saying that she's the one, and she kind of impressed everyone within the club. So for them, basically, so obviously, as Nat said, that they probably sold her dreams. They told her that we'll be permanently shifting to the cliff, or she'll have great training facilities. And they knew that she's the perfect manager. They knew that she has a very good work ethic. She's gonna work really hard. She's gonna attract players that we normally wouldn't, because we haven't been there for women's football. So they got everything. And Casey, basically, she has been running the whole club by herself. A few years till a little bit time back, we didn't have analysts. We had a very short staff that was working with us. Casey has built it from ground up, and if we are basically letting that go, what you're basically doing is all red, all equal. This one club. This is basically just a sham, right? And why all the other clubs, they are trying to do their best to promote the women's team, and they want to do more and more for the women's team. Right now, it just seems like they just want to do that for marketing. They just want to build their brand, and that is why they're just putting all this all red, all equal. But it actually isn't true. And Casey, for any other coach, probably, they would have kept quiet. They wouldn't have said anything. But Casey's the one who just went out and, she resigned. Because how many managers do we know who resign? Most of the managers that we know, they are fired. But Casey Stoney is among the few managers that I've heard who have actually resigned because of the bad facilities that they have.
Yeah. And I heard Deb mention before I came onto the show how proud she is. I think the wording was that she used, and it's absolutely true. Casey knows she probably deserves better than what she's getting. And I'm not on about the market. I'm on about the way she wants to run the club. She knows what she wants, and the club can't provide it for her. She hasn't got the tools to do a job. So yeah, we can talk about the squad depth, this, that, and the other, not having the tools to do a job there. But me, Natalie, Matt, Ben, all the regulars on the show, we've all said it ourselves since the start of the year. Things haven't been right, and the fact is we haven't looked after these players. You talk about all red, all equal. Yeah, that's a big part of it. But again, I just think it's a lack of ambition, not from Casey, from the people above. And I personally believe if she had stayed here for another season or two, we could have gone from strength to strength. Look how quickly we've gone from the championship to fourth, from 13 points behind to now just 1 point behind. And we would have made Champions League if it wasn't for all the injuries and the disruption that not she's caused, but from people above her has caused. We could have quite easily brought in 3 or 4 quality players this summer to really compete with Arsenal and maybe Chelsea, because we was competing against Chelsea for the first 11 games of the season, but obviously it dipped down from then. So there's nothing wrong with Casey. She shouldn't have left. She should have been our manager for a very long time. And I really hope that the club look back on this and think to themselves, right, we made a mistake here. We should not have let Casey go. But then I do agree with Deb. Once this just settles, we move on. Manchester United, we do move on. Whatever manager comes in, I will support him, her, whoever it is. That's what we do. But at this moment in time, this is really raw, and Casey should not be in a position where she feels this is such a good job. She should not be in a position where she should have to resign. This is one of the best. This is arguably the best job in women's football. Go on, Namrat.
She just renovated her house. She has her kids. They're both United. Her whole family is a United supporters, right? And so she obviously wanted to stay. She was looking at it as a long-term deal, but obviously she has been let down in the last few months in the season, and she's thought that she's much better than this, and she has been getting good offers from across the world. So you know, bad for us, but I think it'll take some time to get over it. But eventually we'll move on.
Yeah, we will get over it, because as Man United, as football fans, we will get over it. But I just think it's completely wrong the way I think she's been treated, because I just think it's all down to why would someone want to leave this club if you're happy? Well, obviously you're not happy. Jack, thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you. Let's hear your thoughts on it, because I've just come straight from work. I've just took my coat off and still got my uniform on or whatever.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't expect this. I mean, there's a part, obviously, that is very surprised, but I do understand it. I think that for the last few months, there's kind of been a bit of an air of a few doubts coming in about how the future looks for whatever reason. I know that, and correct me if I'm wrong from what you've just said, maybe there's a feeling, I know for sure there's a feeling from some of the fans that, over the training facility issue, whether the ownership of the club was really backing Casey to build upon the vision that she had for the club. And yeah, that's definitely, it's possible. I'd say maybe that's a reason, or one of the reasons. But I think when you look at it, there's a lot of things that could potentially come into this. You look at the statement that she's released. She's talked about the pandemic. Maybe this season, which has been extremely tough for everyone across the football world, men, women, whoever, managers, players, etc. Maybe home life with her partner, with her children, maybe that has taken further significance of last year, and I completely understand and respect that. Maybe she does have other job opportunities lined up, which has also been mentioned in the article from the Telegraph that was originally broken. And I do understand that, because she's a highly rated manager, and makes sense that she would have other things lined up. On a personal level, I think that we've spoken before about how much the injuries have or haven't had an impact on the season, whether United should be higher up on the table or not. And it does, when you look at the results, we were first in January. I think since January, we've had 5 losses in 10 games. We dropped from 1st to 4th. We lost in the Conti Cup very early on in the season to Liverpool, which was a very disappointing performance. And you look at the way that some of the games have gone this season, even when winning, it's not been the best of football at times. We've conceded very silly, basic goals from corners, set pieces, long balls, things that look like, the management hasn't, trained them properly, or that the players simply haven't heeded the words of the manager. She came out before the Arsenal game and also before the City and Chelsea games, saying every game's a cup final, we have to make sure we win, etc., blah, 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 get a result. Saying before the Arsenal game, I'm confident we can keep a clean sheet against Arsenal, only to concede within the first minute and lose all those games. So maybe she thinks she has taken the team as far as she can. Maybe she thinks that the players simply were not responding anymore to her methods, and it's time for someone else to have a go. So that there's a lot of potential reasons and circumstances behind this. Obviously, I just, I wish Casey well, thank her for the time that she's been with us, and I really hope that the next person, whoever that may be, is the right appointment.
you raised a lot of good points there, and I will bring Namrat in again in a second, but I just wanted to keep on talking to Jack while you've come on. Thank you, Jack, for coming on. I agree. I think obviously since January, the results haven't gone right, and you could potentially blame Casey for that, whether it be tactics or the choice of people that she's playing. I think the morale around the club has obviously dropped, whether that be through injuries or whether it be through other things, which I think is as well. I do think that the players are fully aware of things going on behind the scenes that have kind of distracted them. But let's not forget, I mean, she's not been fired, so it's not down to the results. It's just down to some sort of unhappiness that Casey has got. I can't remember exactly what you just said there, Jack, because I've seen so many comments, but she might see it as a bit of a failure, and she's took the team as far as she can go. But up until 4 or 5 months ago, we was flying, we was top of the league. So I can't help but think that there's something that's gone on over that December, January time, and I keep saying it, that's more of a key issue. And someone's put in a comment about here we go, about can that be the only reason, about improve the pitch to train. That wouldn't be the only reason, but for me, that's part of the reason, because what this means is that Casey's kind of asking for help here about training pitches, or she's asking for help, or she's just not agreeing with the owners or the directors or whoever in the direction of the club. The training facilities is just one thing. It could be absolutely anything. It could have been a Super League. There's a comment about, could the Super League be a part of it? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But I think it's got to be the vision of the club. When Casey first started, she was probably sold this dream, saying, yeah, in the first season we'll do this, second season we'll do this, third season we'll do this, etc. This is me coming from Casey's, defending Casey, as I always do. Maybe she was sold a story that isn't coming to fruition. What are your thoughts on that side of things, Jack? Do you think that maybe she was promised things that maybe she hasn't had, maybe?
It's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying, it's something that, because the training facilities, if they were not up to the level, that could be indicative of other things, such as maybe transfers, squad management, that kind of thing. So it's possible. With that said, I think up until this season, Casey chose the training facilities and was happy with the training facilities.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. Again, we can speculate. We don't know. I think, it's probably, the truth is probably somewhere in between. The truth is probably that this was a combination of factors that we've mentioned and run down, and that, it has led her to think, it's time for me to step away. And like I said, the run of form, yes, I think that the club would have been happy for her to continue. I think if any, and I personally would have been happy for her to continue. I wanted her to give it another go next season, and see, if she could take the team forward from there. And if not, maybe then a decision would need to be made about her. But she's obviously taken the decision out of the club's hands, and that's it. Again, I think when you look on the pitch, you can lose games to these top teams like City, Arsenal, Chelsea. There's no shame in that, but it's also about the way that you lose. I think if we look at the City and Arsenal games especially, we really didn't offer that much in those games, and we were completely outplayed by them. In the Chelsea game, we lost 2 very poor goals, and to be quite honest, if Chelsea were more clinical in the first half, they could have really run riot on us. And then you look at a few other results that we've had this season, the likes of Brighton away, Reading at home, and like I mentioned, the Conti Cup defeat to Liverpool. And it looked like we just didn't really have an answer to them. And these are teams, with all due respect to them, that we should be beating if we want to be at that next level.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That is exactly right. I can't disagree with that. It's true. Namrat, I know you've been on for a bit, so please just say when you've got to go. But if you want to answer this question first about maybe going to Arsenal or another English club, it doesn't have to be America. Obviously, the rumours a couple of weeks ago was that she was going to join the NWSL. But what are your thoughts on Casey's future now?
I think somebody was reporting that she's not going to Arsenal because they ended their process and applications for the new manager on 26th. So she kind of missed that part. Uh, I think there are rumors that she'll join San Diego. So it's again a new team that she'll get to start from scratch. Maybe she has been promised a lot of facilities there as well. She's probably been paid a lot. I think I would feel slightly better if she's not in Europe. Will be easier to cope. Uh, NWSL, nobody watches them, at least from where I am. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think I really just hope. I just hope a few years down the line she comes back. Uh, I don't think she will. She's the kind of person who will not. But I really hope she does one day. We'll see.
I agree. And what an end to her Man United career this is. Such a shame because for me she deserved a lot more. Only because of what she's achieved for the first 3 seasons, of course. But for me, I think she just deserved a little bit more. Anthony, thank you for joining us, mate. I know it's a bit of a crazy time. I've literally just drove home. It looks like you are you in work uniform or are you at home? I can't even tell.
Work uniform. I am at home though.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. What's your thoughts, Anthony?
Oh, obviously I'm devastated. When it came up, it's that big. It came up on Sky Sports News. Casey resigns, and I was like, "Oh no!" And yeah, you got to wonder what's been going on behind the scenes. She's obviously, I think it's been quite common knowledge that we know she's not been happy with certain stuff, and unfortunately, she's obviously not had the backing of things. I know she wasn't happy with the training. No, it really is a shame because I really do think she was building something, and now it's like, where do we go? We bring in a new manager. What players are we going to have? How far does this put us back? Do we progress further? Are the club, the Glazers as a whole, they quite happy if we finish fourth every season? Because as a fan, I want us to be challenging for the title. I want us to be getting in Europe, and I feel like with this news, it's put a damper on it. It's like put us behind, but time will tell.
For me, it's a dampener because she's chose to leave, which is 10 times worse for me because I'm sure she, up until 2.5 years ago, she would have been really happy in this club. Then something's happened and she's not. For someone to just suddenly leave, for someone to decide to leave like this, I think something big must have happened. Jack, I see that you might be agreeing and disagreeing with maybe some of the stuff that Anthony was saying. But I mean, obviously regarding Man United now, where do you think Man United goes from here? I mean, do you think we can potentially bring in a better manager? Because there are more experienced managers out there that will, I'm sure, do a good job. But the question is, do they know Man United as well as Casey, maybe?
Well, I think it's an interesting point. That there are managers out there, and I'm not sure exactly what the club will be looking for. It's possible that they'll be looking for an experienced top-level manager. A part of me, though, thinks that maybe they'll be looking again for a manager that has experience in the WSL or in the Championship, that knows, about English football, and someone that is still young and wants to prove themselves with United rather than to come to United, be the big name, the big star, and then just leave in like a year or two. I think that it will probably be the latter. So someone to prove themselves with United, a younger manager rather than an experienced one. Which again, the positives and negatives to either of those choices. In regards to what Anthony said, yeah, I agree. Whenever a manager goes, it's for whatever reason, it's a shock. And you have to start thinking, where are we going as a club, as a team? What does the future hold? Because everything's up in the air. But with that said, I think it's important to think about where the women's team is in relation to Manchester United as a club. First of all, in regards to top four, not top four, all that kind of thing, this team has only been in existence since 2018. Top four doesn't really lead anywhere. You can say, oh, well, we're close to Arsenal, Chelsea, City, that kind of thing. But at least for now, European competition is top three. So, and Casey herself said that not making that this season, she would view that as a failure. So again, I'm thinking, I can see why you would say that maybe this comes down to behind the scenes ownership. I completely can see that. But a part of me also thinks that this is Casey holding her hands up and saying, I have done what I can do with this team, and now it's time for me to move on. So I'm not sure. Like I said, there could be many potential factors and reasons in this. In regards to who do United bring in terms of going forward, building plans, how do we get players in, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that Casey wasn't a pull for players. I'm sure she was. Yeah. But with that said, and even with the ownership that is problematic, to say the least, this is still Manchester United. The club, the name, should be, and I believe will be, enough of a pull for any manager and any player, whether that's men or women, to come and be a part of a special project, hopefully leading to success in the future. So I don't think that Casey leaving, suddenly that means potential star players will say, oh no, I don't feel like going to Manchester United. Namrat, when I want to go, but any final words from yourself there?
I think once I've calmed down, we'll talk about the future manager. But I just need to take some time, have a good sleep, probably talk about it tomorrow.
Look, thank you very much for coming on. I was just basically at work when I found out, and I wish I could come on sooner. So thank you to Deb and Nat for starting this stream. I'm going to keep going until people can't join us anymore. So we've got Ben to replace you now, Namrat. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll get you on over the summer, definitely. Thank you, Namrat.
Bye bye.
Ben, obviously yourself. I think me and Natalie both said we're shocked, but not shocked. I think I'm leaning more towards shocked because I just didn't think it was going to be this far. I think it's quite evident that Casey hasn't been happy and she's been different in the last few months. I think it's had a knock-on effect with the players. But for it to actually go as far as resigning, Ben, are you shocked?
Mate, you lot do know how to wake me up, don't you, man? Trying to sleep for my night shift. Well, even though I'm off now because I'm back, but still, I'm in that routine of sleeping, and everything always kicks off, and I'm like, all my messages are all blazed up. What the hell is going on here? You know, then they're not finding out. Like, I'm trying to read it out. Someone's winding me up here. Someone's winding me up. And everyone's going, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? So, yeah, man, what news to wake up to? I'm not surprised, mate. I'm not surprised. I think the writing's been on the wall. I really do. I think I said it ages ago. Don't be surprised if her budget's cut. Don't be surprised if this is happening, that's happening. Because I just don't trust the owners, and I think it's down on them. I really do. I think she might have been promised things and then been let down. You know, I think it's just a bit of a shock that she go straight now. You know, yes, performances after Christmas haven't been so great. You know, we all know that. But it's a bit of a shock, mate, because I thought she'd be here for another at least a decade, man. We always said that, you know.
So on that bit, yeah. So no, I've interrupted you, but I just want to bang on with this point. So how unhappy must have she been, because she knew that potentially she could have had a good legacy here, being the first manager. You know, it would have been very hard for anyone to sack Casey because it's like a first manager and she's so well liked here and there. How unhappy must she have been for her to decide after the third season that, okay, I've had enough of this? Because that's basically what's happened. Has turned around and she's thought about it over time. She spoke with her family, no doubt, and just you know, she may have even opened up to a few people who she works with. Who knows? But she must have been really, really unhappy to leave Manchester United, I think. But what are your thoughts on that one, Ben? And then I'll ask Anthony. I'll ask you the same question.
I think something's definitely gone on behind the scenes, mate, that's made her unhappy. Because listen, Casey Stoney for me is not somebody that goes and chucks in the towel. You know, that's not Casey Stoney. Something's happened behind the scenes, whether it's from the owners or whether it's from somebody that's, you know, above her, but not quite the owners, if you know what I mean, that have said something. Either it's the budgets have been cut, she's not been getting enough backing for training facilities, or, you know, for something. Maybe she's been trying to push hard for like new training facilities, you know, top of the range. Listen, I need this, and I need this budget for my players. I need this I need this training facility. Can you give it to me? And whether she feels she's not being backed properly enough is and that's the reason why she's gone. Which I think it's more of that than, because I think Casey Stoney ain't the type of person that just chuck the towel in like that. You know, whether it be over performances. You know, she's finished third in the league. Fourth in the league again. You know, it's not a massive disappointment. It's not a massive failure, is it? You know, yes, she missed out on top 3 this season, but let's be fair, only by the skin of her teeth, really. You know, we're not that far off Arsenal in terms of points. You know, finishing off. So I think it's not performance related. This is definitely down to the way things are running. I'm pretty sure. You know, all the things that she got promised at the start, as it started to now unravel. You know. Are the owners starting to be absolute arseholes that they are, and we start to see it, man? Because I reckon they are, you know. I said to you a couple of weeks ago, don't be surprised that budget gets even slimmer than it was before, that transfer budget, because I don't think they're going to give Ollie all that much money to spend. I reckon they're being absolute twats, and they're going to just tighten everything up, and they're just going to shut up shop, you know. I might be wrong. I might be well off the mark. It might not be an owner thing. You know, it might not be down the owners. But I cannot see Casey Stoney being that type of person after just under 3 seasons. Let's say last season was a full season. I don't really count that. So just under 3 full seasons. Why would she walk away from something that's so big and from probably the biggest job she's ever going to get in her career, apart from the England job? You know, you could probably say, the England job will probably, some people might view that as a bigger job. I don't think so. I think she's in the biggest job, or she was in the biggest job in the world anyway. I think something's gone on behind the scenes. This ain't, you know, this ain't Casey Stoney just being pissed off about performances and thinking that she's failed. Because she's got loads of self-belief. You know what I mean? She'd have gone, right, next season we're going to go at it again, and you know, but I need this to go at it again. You know, I reckon it's behind the scenes, pal. Unfortunately, I don't know what the rest think, because I've jumped on quite late. Obviously, waking up looking like an absolute, you know, I'm looking right rough, but you know,
beautiful. I've come straight from work. Anthony, let's bring you back in then. So, obviously, you were happy because obviously you're a Casey Stoney fan as well. But what are your thoughts on what Ben's just saying there as well about, like, it's such a massive decision to resign. There's got to be more to it, hasn't there?
Yeah, I agree with Ben. It not being performance related. I think if you're wanting to build, then you're thinking, oh well, we won the championship in the first season. We got fourth before COVID, but we were a bit behind, and then this year we're fourth, but a point behind third. If she was getting the right backing, then she should be planning for next season. Should be like, I want this person, that person, and she'll know who she wants to get us to that next stage. And I feel like Casey did have. Casey always spoke. I think it was Casey spoke. She always spoke about a 5-year plan. Now she's gone after the third season, so a lot of what Ben said I agree with. I feel like false promises. It could be potentially budget cuts. If they're not going to give you the back in, then it's very hard to improve. We all know Arsenal, Chelsea, and City have got good established squads, and to get further, we need to be getting these. We need to be getting a bigger squad, and that squad depth. You just it's not great, but time will tell. I just hope next season we don't go backwards, and I hope we do get someone in who can continue the project that Casey started. But let's put it this way: it's going to be an interesting summer.
And that's the thing, is it's a project that Casey started, and now somebody else will come in with their own ideas, their own project, and then is it one of these where you might have to take a step backwards to go forwards again? Can we afford to do that? Because if we finish fourth again, then it's not progression. Jack, I'm going to bring you back in again shortly. I just want to interact with some of these comments as well, so thank you for putting some in. Obviously, Vicky says it's just a massive shock. It is a massive shock. Even if we think the Casey was unhappy for it to actually resign, I think it's a massive shock. I'm still thinking the case is off to Arsenal, not the United States. Well, look, we know Arsenal is obviously going to be a big pull for Casey, and the change of manager there is probably needed. But flipping out to go from United to Arsenal, wow! I mean, that for me would be massive. Vicky, I am really shocked and gutted, but also want to get behind the girls on Sunday. I agree. I think the more I think about it now, maybe this is her Casey's way of maybe having a bit of a send off for her. So if she resigned after Leicester, there's no way of kind of giving her a bit of an applause. Not the fans, of course, because we're not in the stadium, but the club could potentially do something for her last game, which she does deserve. So maybe that's something. But the timing of this announcement is not great, given the game on Sunday. How are the players going to feel then? Okay, so Jack, let me ask you this one: how is the players going to feel on playing against Leicester in the FA Cup, knowing that their own future is potentially up in the air because a new manager comes in? What do they want? Obviously they're going to be upset. The majority are going to be upset. Maybe there's a couple that doesn't like Casey. I don't know, but the majority of the players will be upset. What are the players going to be thinking now?
I think, like you said, first of all, I think that the majority, I don't, I'm not in the dressing room, obviously, so I don't know these things, but I would like to think that the majority, if not all, the players love and respect Casey, and therefore will want to give her a good send-off, perform for her in her last game managing the team. And like you said as well, potentially they are playing for their future. So they should hopefully go out with everything that they've got so that they show the next manager, yes, I deserve to be here. I have to say that looking at the performances across across the season. You know, we've talked about the performances since January, but I think again it's important to remember that some of the performances even at the beginning of the season, like Liverpool in the Conti Cup, for example, some of the players I don't know if they should be there anymore, to be quite honest. And Casey is stuck with them, and that again, you know. And I understand what Ben's saying about the situation and the ownership and that kind of thing. And maybe there have been broken promises and all that. By the way, most of my smiles and giggles were because I didn't realise that this was an 18-rated show. And I appreciate Ben's input in that respect. But
so I've got a swear jar for all for United for their Christmas party.
Yeah, apologies if there is any foul language. Obviously, it does happen.
Yeah. So in regards to the points that Ben was raising, yeah, maybe there have been things that have changed. I think, you know, as Casey mentioned in her statement, you know, the pandemic has changed things, and therefore you can look at that from a personal perspective in terms of Casey, family matters, whether, you know, she'd like to spend more time with family due to the issues arising from the pandemic. You can also look at that from club matters, that maybe the club cannot provide certain things due to what has gone on during the pandemic. Maybe that's the story, maybe it isn't, who knows. But I think that, you know, in regards to Casey's self-belief as a manager, not that I'm doubting it, but I think it's important to go back over the last few months to a number that she's made before matches mainly, saying every game's a cup final, we need to make sure that we're on it, we need to make sure that we're keeping it, believing these good enough, needs them, blah, 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 blah. And on the pitch, the performance matched those words. So, you know, yes, Casey is full of self-belief, and yes, I'm sure she wanted to succeed. And, you know, on there have been less progress every season, and it's important to remember that it's only 3 teams re-emergence. But with that said, thinking, you know, players, I've tried to push them. I say every game's a cup final. Every game's a cup final. You know, got to keep it tight. Got to win. Got to win. Got to win. And the players don't perform. Maybe she's thinking it's time for someone else to come in with fresh ideas.
There's always
again, maybe I'm completely wrong about it. Maybe it's all down to investment, ownership, planning for the future. Maybe it is, but a part of me feels that, you know, she was talking about how it would be a failure for us not to make it into the top 3 this season, and maybe she's taken that failure personally. Yeah,
possibly. Nat, you've had a bit of time now. It's been a couple of hours since the news as well. What are your thoughts there, mate?
It's exactly the same. I've put a tweet out, and you know, I've been speaking to people. Response to that tweet, and it's in 2018 when we played Sheffield United at LSV, and I started singing. And Rachel Brown-Finnis, she's an England Lioness. I don't even know. She's played in net, don't know how many times. And we were speaking, and we were like, but what's the difference here, Rachel? They got rid of the team the other day. And I remember this conversation vividly. So what's the difference? No, this time they mean it. This time they're going to be serious. This time they're going to do this. The girls get whatever they want. And I've just seen David's tweet. She had a restrictive budget, but she was near to re-signing a couple of months ago. And I think when we were on the top, when we were flying, when, you know, when she was getting everything she wanted, John. That's what we sort of said.
She was in control and do what she wanted to do.
Yeah. And so Rachel Brown says, trust me, Natalie, stick with this team. This team's going to do things. And obviously she was speaking through Casey. That's who, you know, Casey didn't say that, but she sort of, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, like what Deborah said early on in the stream, you know, Casey said to her, Champions League, we're going to get it. And I think, yeah, Jack's sort of saying it's more to it than just the injuries and this. The teams have been good enough, yeah, but I just think it's a fight of it. You know, I'm seeing the person who originally told me about the whole tents thing. She's saying if you're training in tents, COVID or not, you know, it's not good enough. And let me pull up what she said. If all you were given was tents to train in a professional women's team and not allowed to share men's facilities or no sign on the tents not being an option, I'd leave too. And that's, you know, and people say, oh, well, the tents, COVID, will it change? And it was going to change. There was no COVID in 2018. And she was promised. That's what you just need to look. It's clear in black and white. Yeah, the statement is there. I'm sharing it, resharing it. 2018, this women's team will play in the will train in the redeveloped cliff. No work's been done on the cliff.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so she's had enough. And I don't blame her. I've had enough. You know, I didn't come on just, but I just love, there's so many people I know in the women's game. We're talking about Leicester, we're talking about this. How many different fans do we get on around the world, not just Man United? You know, Stu Barker comes on all the time. But I didn't come to, not in a horrible way, Stu, he's a big red. But I didn't come to meet different fans of different clubs. I got enough fans of Man United, you know? Not in a horrible way. I loved meeting them and I loved meeting all these players. I came for the badge. On Stu's chest, on my chest, on Benny's wall. And, you know, I was promised the world. We all were. She was.
Is it typical of the Glazers, though? You know, tomorrow becomes even more important to me, man. I know there's protests again planned for tomorrow before the Liverpool
I'm going to be there, Benny. I'm going to be there.
That's fired me up even more, though, today now. It's fired me up even more now. As I said to these, like, I don't know if you heard me, but obviously I absolutely in my work mode. I was trying to sleep, you know, getting ready for a night shift and everything. And then I wake up, and my phone's blowing up. I'm like, what the hell's going on? At first, I thought it was a joke. Someone just trying to wind me up.
So did I.
When I went into it and I saw your tweets and then I saw the club statement and everything, I was like, fucking hell, this is real. Excuse the swearing. And sorry, Jack, I don't know if you're still here. But, you know, I was thinking, Jesus, this is not real. But Nat, this is proper fired me up, mate, because I said exactly the same. I don't know if you heard me just before you come back on again. This is a Glazer thing, this. I said about training facilities. I've said about budgets and that. And remember, I've been on about it for weeks about budgets. I said don't be surprised if it's cut because I don't trust this lot running a football club.
The protests are Thursday at Old Trafford.
Tomorrow, yeah.
For me, I feel let's go on Sunday as well. I know that I'm not trying to say definitely go, but you know, COVID, safe, but they need to see people there and realise that people love this team. I fell in love with football again. I'm watching the men's team a lot more now through this women's team, you know? And, you know, like I said, I was at a point where I just wanted to walk away from the men's team because I just felt they didn't care. But I've fallen back in love. Ollie comes and watches the girls. I speak to Ollie a bit through this women's team. So, God, I wonder how he bloody feels as well. Because him and Casey got on, they talked a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got to think about his team as well. He's got to get the right things for his team. You know, that's his main priority. But I bet he's not surprised.
Nat, can I bring Andy in?
Yeah, sorry, Andy.
I don't know if you can hear me, Andy, because your screen's a bit fuzzy. Are you there, Andy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
That's as beautiful as he's ever looked, that.
Just, Andy, I want to hear your thoughts, but I just want to reply very quickly to a comment on here. David Akia, Chelsea fan. He's on every show, so I'll cut him a bit of slack. But he's basically saying, why is everyone complaining? No one is looking at the bright side. What if Casey is hell-bent on leaving? What if Manchester United then gets a better coach? First of all, she wouldn't be interested in leaving this club if she wasn't unhappy, and she's only unhappy because of the way she's being treated. That's my opinion, but also I don't know the way she's been treated, but it's a difference of opinion on regards to where she sees her vision of the club and where her directors and her owners sees their vision of the club. So, yeah, you know what? It might get a better coach, but personally, I'd be very surprised if we get a better coach than Casey at the moment. I think we should have stuck with Casey. I think we should have done everything that we could have done to keep Casey, because I don't think we'll get a coach in who's won loads of WSLs or anything that bridges the gap, in my opinion. Not yet anyway, because I think even if we do get someone in that's got that quality, they will also need to know how Manchester United runs, and that will take time. But that's my opinion on that. Go on, Andy. What's your thoughts on the breaking news, mate?
I think we can speculate all we like about the reasons behind it. We're bound to be suspicious, knowing the club. Obviously, for a long time, long before there was a women's team, it was love the team, hate the club, and we don't trust the club. There's bound to be speculation around that. From what she said in the statement so far, it's a little bit standard practice, it sounds. But from what she has said, I feel like it's time for me to step down and somebody else to take the club forward. If she's not got another job lined up, who's going to look at her and think she's 1 point off third place, and now she's thinking that somebody else needs to take over? She's hardly shouting herself up, is she, for a new job? So unless she's got something lined up, is she dismayed by United? Is she dismayed by football? Has the pandemic made her reassess things and think, let's have a bit of family time? Part of the quote said, take some time away. That suggests she's not going into anything anytime soon. Although we have seen managers in the past in men's football say they're going to take some time away and reappear straight away. So we don't know what the truth is. You can read between the lines, you can interpret it how you want, but she's certainly not bigging herself up for anything new straight away. So I think it is something a bit more personal.
And you got something to write about in your next episode as well of your fanzine as well.
Well, that's it. It was all ready. We had some finishing touches for the end of the season. It was ready to go to print, and then that came through. And today it was, wait a minute, we can't have a first issue that leaves this out.
It's
so
fine.
Again, that's a bit of an exciting hold the front page moment today on that front.
Yeah. Anthony, I haven't spoken in a while, so I'll bring you back in shortly. But Natalie, I think you were just about to say something.
Yeah, I'm just seeing on the Athletic. Sorry, Anthony, I'm just reading things as I go through, and listen, anyone can join. I'm tired, man. Stoney resigned a few months ago, and this is when I think we felt, when she started going on about I failed, taking all the responsibility, and not even when she started saying that about but the players are all right, I thought something's a bit off there. Budget then increased in response to that, but by then things have gone too far. So I think that's when they then moved them to Carrington permanent, and that's what this club is: reaction. We saw with the ESL, we're going to do this, and then you have to react, backtrack, step out of it. For me, I think it's gone too far. Yeah, Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I can see where your points there totally. I'm just struggling to get my head around it. Like, yeah, you could think it might be a personal thing, and family time, but then we've had COVID, haven't we? She's probably had more family time in the last year and a half than she would if we were.
I don't mind that. Yeah,
It's not that.
It's not that. For like 3 seasons now, for over 3 years, she's stable. It's unhappiness, and someone has made her unhappy, exactly. And that's what it is. And that comes back to what you said, Ben. From above. I'll just come back to you. But, what have you heard in the last 20 minutes that you want to talk about, or any comments that you want to talk about? There's just so much to get your head around, isn't there?
There is, though. It's like, where do we go from here for the near immediate future? Who's going to come in? It's like that everybody's asking them sort of questions. So somebody says Siobhan Chamberlain. I don't think so. Again,
Shivy won't come in when they've treated Casey like that.
That's my point. Exactly my point I was going to, Natalie. But you know, it's like, who would you bring in now? You know what I mean? Yes, the prestige of the football club only takes you so far. But when people will see the pressure that Casey Stoney's been under and that she's had to fight for everything, you know, after all this big talk in 2018, we're going to do things the right way, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to, you know, as Natalie said about the cliff, that place not being fucking touched, mate. You could tell it's not being touched. Renovations and all that lot. A lot of bullshit, that one. You know, that was supposed to be their home. We got told that, and then some people are still arguing against that. Oh, the cliff was never going to it was. Trust me when I say it was going to be there. But they're based to train at. You know, they're based to be a home at. Yes, it's old school. Yes, there's prestige there that in the cliff. You know what I mean? But they've not done anything, mate. Everything, as Natalie said, it's just been like reactionary. As soon as Casey started battling more, you know, getting in there more, you know, getting in their faces, you know, it just seems then they'll be like, oh yeah, you can maybe train at the cliff, yeah, we'll give you the cliff for a little bit, you know, or something like that, you know. But who's to say that we was going to get the cliff next? Not sorry, the cliff, so the Carrington. We give you Carrington a little bit, but who's to say next season that we're going to get Carrington? Maybe they're saying no, we're going to have to find you somewhere else next season, because when everybody's back in, because remember, not all the age groups have been training, you know, at Manchester United or been playing matches and that regularly over the last year and a bit, you know. Well, so when they all come back in and Carrington gets crowded again, you know, where they're going to say to Casey, oh, you have to go back to LSV, and she's trying to say, well, LSV is not good enough for training. Matches, the pitch is beautiful, the stadium is beautiful, but for training, I need top-class facilities, and if they're not giving it to her, then you can understand why she wants to maybe go. Somebody's saying, hey, Carla Ward and Lee Birch. Carla Ward would be quality, but then Carla Ward would probably think, oh, the way they treated Casey Stoney, what do I want to go there?
That's the problem.
That's the problem now. People look at the Manchester United as a whole, look at the mess the club's in, look at all the protests. Fans are not happy. It's not a happy club. Who's going to walk into a club that's, you know, on a whole, it's not very happy? It seems to be in a bit of a, well, not. It's a bit of a war zone at the minute between fans and the owners, and between Casey and what's happening with Casey now, between the owners. If it's not the owners, whoever it is that deals. That Casey deals with, that speaks to the owners or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know how much say Casey has with the owners, if she's got direct contact, or whether it's got to be through a John Murtough character or someone like that. You know, I don't know how the club works in that respect, but it's just a mess, mate. It's just a shambles. It makes us look very amateurish after all this big talk, and for a big football club, the biggest in the world. It makes it look very amateurish, mate. I don't buy this shit that she's not happy. It's for personal reasons. I think I'm more along the lines of what Natalie's saying and what the people in the Athletic are saying. Something's definitely happened behind the scenes and it's been said to her or what have you. You know, obviously, I'm glad we've got people on here that give different opinions to try and give it from a different approach, look at all angles. I'm glad that we've got people like Slater and that, you know, that give them sort of opinions, but mate, I'm not buying it. There's something going on behind the scenes.
Let me just jump in, because we've got Simon who's saying that it's personal reasons. We've got Jockey thinks it's personal reasons. What do you think the personal reasons are? Put them in the comments, because for me and Natalie's been banging on about this twice a week. Something has gone on behind the scenes for a while just to make her unhappy. And this is something to do with what the club's done. Natalie's been banging on about we need an investigation into the training situation since before Christmas. There was an investigation. They moved them. All of a sudden, in the first article that comes out in the Telegraph, the training conditions, this, that, and the other. No smoke with their fire, you know. Let me bring Andy back in, mate.
Quick, can I say something quickly?
Yeah.
Also, if it was personal reasons, then why would you leave it to one game before the end of the season? You wouldn't, would you? You would say, you would announce it a bit before saying, I'm going to step down at the end of the season. Then it would come out, not one game.
Like what Joe Montemuro did, a couple of months. Let's have a build up. Let's do something nice. Let's do this now. It's us fun. just happened like this. And the thing is, though, I know Andy's going to come in.
Yeah.
There's 2022, so she might wait for a little bit, but not because, you know, I think she loves this club. I think she loves the fans. She definitely loves the players. But, you know, she's not seen her jockey. She's not seen her mum. She lives with her family. You know, let's not get it just like Ben said. She spent loads of time probably with her family with this COVID. The whole place was locked down. So she was with her young kids more than anything. And she made hints of that. Her attitude has changed. And I think, to be honest, it's because of they were back and forth. That's probably when she thought, F this, I'm getting off. And they said, no, we'll put you in the Carrington. And she's realised that this is what this club does. Put a sticker on it and hope for the best. You know, the roof was leaking in Old Trafford last night. Put a sticker on it and hope for the best. Slater, you go.
Yeah, the point about if it was personal reasons, should have announced it earlier. I don't buy that. That's personal preference. Fergie once announced he was going to retire and the season fell to pieces. Now, our season fell to pieces anyway, but I don't think that's a reason why it's not personal reasons. With what she said so far, and that it was within a club statement, so it's obviously censored, but maybe we'll hear more from her in the next few days or after she actually leaves. But if she's leaving because of training facilities and because of things behind the scenes, if she's got the strength of character we believe she's got and what we love about her as our manager, she'd be saying that. She wouldn't be saying, I want to take some time away. She'd be saying, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, things weren't right. And like I say, if she's looking for a future job in football, she wants to talk herself up. She doesn't want to say, I could take this team no further, because that shows a lack of ambition that other teams are going to want from her. So I think there's certainly something missing in what she's said, if it's something behind the scenes. But like I say, that might come in the next few days once she's talking on her own and not as part of a club statement. We know that the club is rotten, but so far, from what she said and what we've seen, I'm not seeing the evidence of that so far as to why she's left. I want to, if that is the case, I want to see her come out and say, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, because I want the club to feel the shock of somebody leaving for those reasons. Otherwise, the next manager will get the same. You want a manager leaving for those reasons to say, this has gone wrong, and then the club think, we'd better put something into this. Otherwise, it's just another cycle. She's not coming out of it looking very good, and the club don't learn anything, and we get the same all over again. But we talk about investment. We got some good players in last summer, and not just the 1 year deals with the Americans, but Russo. That's a big signing. That's an ambitious signing. That's looking to the future. The team has added the squad we've got, barring injuries, would have been good enough to challenge the top three and more, as we proved at the beginning of the season. We've got the squad. The training facilities, are they to blame for the injuries? We don't know. That needs looking into. It could be something to do with that. But again, if it is, I want her to come out and say that. If she loves the club and she's leaving for that reason, have an impact. Go out with a bang. Show your ambition for your future jobs that you get.
Nat, do you want to answer that on screen? Because
I just want to say as well, I think she's showing her ambition. I think by leaving, she's not going to take it. And I know, like, people are saying, oh, yeah, well, that statement, this and that, and this and that. Like you say, I think hands are tied. I think more stuff will come out later, a couple of weeks down the line. And I think, there's Olympics. She'll probably go there and say a lot of things. But then at the same time, I think she does have respect. I think she's got respect for the players there. I think she's got respect for us. I think she knows how much this means. But this question, I heard about San Diego I didn't know it was San Diego, but I heard that she was offered a job, and that must have been about January, February, and probably a bit later, because I heard about Lauren in February. So probably just a couple of weeks ago, literally, I heard about this. But I thought, no, like what Deborah said, she's not going to go with this, what's happened. But the thing is, though, I think we're not ignoring that. Yeah, she is going to go to America. Yeah, we're devastated. Yeah, there's probably a bit of both in it, because I think it's not just, the injuries. I think, and I've said it time and time, it wasn't good enough. I think a lot of the coaches there aren't good enough. I think she trusts in some players that aren't good enough, puts them in games like Arsenal and City, and then just, Reading, and Brighton and the slow and the this. And, you know, I think everyone knows the players that aren't good enough, but she put them up on a pedestal. Listen, S ain't no saying, oh, she's the only manager in this. I think she's a great manager, but I think she's got her flaws. And for me, you know, she's going now. She's going to go on to this kind of thing. But we've been saying about these training, like what John says, I was saying it in December, mate. You know, and that's when everything was rosy. I was saying I don't like them training at I was saying it last year. I've been saying it for years, mate. If you look at the way they train, and I said it in the summer, even before Tobin and Kristen came, there was a little video, and you could see the bloody ketchup bottles behind their heads as they were lifting weights. It's not good enough. Yeah, and I was saying that, and this is the thing. The statement is there that Man United put out in black and white, the redeveloped Cliff. Where is it? 3 years down the line, it's still not been done. So, yeah, we can look at San Diego, and, yeah, we can look at her choices, that why we didn't get third. I totally get it. Let's go for it. But, you know, we can look at Ollie's choices as to why he didn't get first. We could look at this. We could look at that. The key reason is these owners. They're not investing in the men's stadium, in any of the training. And, you know, they're on a limited budget. But it's great that we were going to, you know, she knew what she was coming into. She didn't come in with £5 million, like everyone said. She came in at the Championship. She had a small budget then. So she knew the budget, what it was going to be. But I think she also knew that the vision. That's the thing. Sorry, there was a vision there. That's the thing she knew, but she knew that there was steps in place of a 5-year plan, and obviously she's come halfway through that now, thinking this isn't what I wanted. Yeah. We're going to wrap it up in about 15 minutes' time, unless if anybody else wants to join in. But if someone wants to say maybe like a bit of a goodbye message or something like that, we'll do something more proper down the line. But I think it's probably just like a bit of a good way to end the show, because we're all fans of Casey, and you know, some more than others. But I think a lot of the presenters on All for United really think a lot of Casey and everything that she's done for us. So, Andy, you're going to shoot off first. So, do you want to just say a bit of, you know, like your conclusions on Casey, or any kind of message for Casey, or anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think I was 3 when Fergie took over United, so he was all I ever knew through a period of success. So at that point, losing a manager was unknown. It was just foreign. And when the team started up, you thought Casey's going to be here long term, and we really thought she was.
Yeah.
This season, it's not gone to plan for the club, for her, and she's built our team. She's built the core of our team. She's added to it, and hopefully we're in a good position team-wise to move forward. If it is stuff behind the scenes, I just want you to come out and tell us. We can speculate, but I want to hear it. I want her to come and tell us why. Tell us so we know what her reasons are. We respect her. We'll respect her even more if she comes out and says, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. I'm not doing it anymore. I'd love that. I'd love it. She'd be a hero in leaving if that was the case. And if that's the reason why, come and tell us, Casey. And thanks for having me on. And I better go and get the tea on now. So
thank you, Andy. Yeah. We'll come back on again soon when it's more prepared and scheduled. But thank you very much, Andy. Thank you.
Cheers, John. See you, everyone.
Thank you, Andy. And yeah,
Andy.
A point on what Andy just said there, he'd like for Casey to come out and say what's really on her mind. The men's managers don't do that until a year or two after they've left, because it's in the contract, isn't it? Or something's in the contract. I don't know if it's in Casey's contract.
It's like they've got a gagging order, mate. What was I saying the other day about gagging orders and not being able to say this, not being able to come out and say that? You know, I think that statement is also being pushed through, you know, like a Glazer PR thing. You know, let me read what she's put. Take this out, take that out, leave that in. You know, type thing. You know, we don't listen. We all respect Casey Stoney, man. We all love Casey Stoney, and this is like a huge kick in the goddamn teeth. But I think the writing's been on the wall when you hear rumours or. Well, not even rumours, but it looks like it's going to be a done deal. Like your best player is going to go to fucking Chelsea. You know, yeah, fair enough. You know, I was a bit sceptical then. I was like, what the hell's going on here? There's more to it than this. But then I just brushed it off as she's missing family, Lauren. You know, she wants to be nearer to her brother and everything. Same club then, you know. So forth. But something's happening, mate. Something's definitely happening behind the scenes, and I don't blame Casey for wanting away, mate. If it's that, maybe it's a mixture of both. Maybe it is personal reasons as well. Maybe she is having a bit of a hard time at home in life. You know what I mean? We all go through it. It's been a shit fucking over 12 months on it. Whatever the hell it has been with this pandemic, with lockdowns and all that lot. It's taken its toll on all of us. But I just wanted to say one thing to Casey Stoney is thank you very much. I respect you. I love you. No matter what's happened at this football club, you will always go with my absolute deepest of respects. If it's personal reasons, thank you very much. Same amount of respects. If it's the club reasons, thank you very much. Same amount of respect. I love Casey Stoney as much as I love Sir Alex Ferguson. She means something to me, just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer means something to me. And I think it's a very, very dark day today, mate. That's the only way I could put it. It's a very, very emotionally dark day because people might say, well, how can you say that after 3 seasons that, you're emotionally invested in her? Let me tell you, mate, she's a superb human being. She's a superb gaffer. She's everything that a Manchester United manager should be, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just thank you, for everything you've done, for giving us, the OG21, for giving us Heath and Press, for giving us, let's see, for giving us every player she's brought into this football club, whether they've worked out or not. Thank you for giving us this ride of the last 3 years of being. We've had our ups and our downs, mate, but honestly, thank you. Because without Manchester United women, without Casey Stoney, we wouldn't all be sat here now, would we? We wouldn't all know each other, So I'm going to stop rambling on now and let Anthony and Natalie speak. But, but just thank you, Casey. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Ben. And I really agree. And anyone who watches All For United knows how much us presenters, who's on the panel, guests, we all love Man United women, and Man United women is Casey Stoney for me, and that is it. And obviously, when we get a new manager, great, we'll support that new manager. But for now, Casey means so much to all of us. Anthony, let me just bring you in first. What are your final thoughts on what you want to say now?
Yeah, like Ben said, I want to thank her for what she has done. It's been such a shame that we've had COVID, that we've not been able to be there fully for the 3 years. But then memories, and even watching at home the Arsenal game when we beat them 1-0, when we drew City 2-2, all that, the first season, she always took her time to speak to the fans. Yeah, like Benny says, it's a dark day. Like things, I like to think things will happen for a reason, and hopefully in a few more weeks things will become a bit more clearer. I'm just gutted we're not going to be able to sing songs. For the last couple of months I've been like, I'll just break out into tune and I'll be like, Casey's at the wheel, how good does it feel? And I just gutted that we won't be when we do go back next season, we won't be chanting that. So, but now I do want to thank her for everything she's done. And like Ben says, if it is personal reasons, fair play. But if it is the club, then I'm just gutted that you felt like this was you had to do this. But I want to say thanks for everything you've done, Casey.
Thank you, Anthony. I was going to bring Zoe in to say her few things, and then obviously we'll just wrap it up shortly. But thank you very much, Anthony. Anthony said breaking out into a tune, then all of a sudden we get our guitarist on the show. How you doing, Zoe? Are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Look, thank you for joining us. We are going to wrap it up shortly. So if you just want to kind of say your thoughts on the breaking news, say what you want to say for Casey Stoney. Then we will shoot off shortly. We'll do a proper show on this when we've got more facts and when we've had time to digest everything. Everything's still raw at the moment. But Zoe, what's your immediate thoughts on the breaking news?
To be honest with you, at first when I first saw the tweet, I thought it was a cruel joke. Really, I wasn't. Earlier on in the season, there was things that Casey said, and it got me worried. And she'd talk about if we don't get Champions League, and that it's like a personal failure or whatever else. And I didn't agree with that. I didn't think that she should blame herself for that. And but it did make me think, what is Casey Stoney thinking? But I really didn't see it coming. After the last few games, I really do believe that Casey was the person to get us those Champions League places and take us to winning the league at some point in the future. I admire her so much as a manager, and when we're there in the ground and we're singing to them, and Casey is just, you look at her compared to the other manager, whoever we're playing, and she's on her feet. She's so passionate. She's getting the best out of the players every single second, and I just thought she was going to be in it for longer than this. But she's done an absolutely incredible job, and I think that shows from all of our reaction. We're all kind of devastated, really, that she's leaving us. So yeah, thank you for everything she's done. But it's gonna take a while for us to get over this, isn't it?
It is, and I probably won't get over it until the new manager comes in, and then obviously your attention quickly turns. But for me, manager Casey Stoney, even if she leaves, I don't know when she's actually going to leave. I don't know if she's actually leaving. I don't know when the actual date is that she's leaving. But for me, until that next manager comes in, she will still be that manager, even if there's an interim period or whatever. But yeah, I think we've gone through so many emotions in the last 2 hours. We've gone from anger at the board, upset the fact that Casey's upset just the fact that this has happened too early, because she should still be the manager next season and the season after that. She should have that legacy. So I know you've only just joined us, but we have been going for about a couple of hours now. So I just want to hear Natalie's final thoughts before we end the stream. But Zoe, we will get you back on for a proper show. I've got you scheduled in on my spreadsheet, you and Andy. So I've got you scheduled in. So bear with us. But Natalie, just over to yourself, mate.
Yeah, people are saying I'm overreacting and
what?
This and that. No, listen, this is Twitter. Even the comments here, listen, she's everything. Like Ben says, I won't be watching women's football. Really, women's football, if I was so interested in it, I would have been watching it before. They've had World Cups. I've dabbled in it, let's say. She made me believe. She's the reason I'm watching Man United men's team the same level that I was a couple of years ago, because she made me fall in love with this club again. Yeah. And people might say, well, this and that, you're not a great fan. Well, I'm not a great fan then, because a lot of people became disillusioned under Jose. The prices were going up. It was this, all these, all these kind of things. And it didn't feel right then. It finally feels right with Ollie, but it always felt right with Casey from the start to the end. And this is just, I think we'll live on. Don't get it twisted. It's not the end, but there needs to be serious questions asked. And, for her to walk away, it was a 5-year plan. That's what she told us. I remember all the interviews. I remember saying how she's going to change the game, and it is. But the thing is, though, the men's teams have tweeted it. The women's team have tweeted it, and all under it, Glazer out, Glazer out, Glazer out, not a penny more, not a penny more, not a penny more. What a disgraceful decision. So the whole fan base is talking about it. People who probably don't even watch women. I'm not even seeing, when they tweet about the women, I rarely see things like stay in the kitchen and all that. I mean, there are people that do say it, but, pretend if it was some other manager leaving. Other fans might say that, oh, no one cares about women's football. I'm not seeing anything like that. I'm seeing stuff saying it's disgraceful, saying not even the under 12 should have, poor training facilities. So if it's the women's professional, it's a disgrace. you know, but people aren't surprised. People aren't shocked. People know what it is, what the reason is. And even though, you know, her statement is like that, you know, so the people have probably read that statement and still know it's a Glazers at fault, you know, because we've lived it. I've lived it. How many years have I lived it? But it's, you know, when Fergie left, that's when it hurt the most. And like I say, and I've posted it time and time, she is our Fergie. There's no one else that I can say, you know, she's taken us from nothing to something. And then now we're something. They just want to just not even fight for her. You know, fight when it's too late. That's the thing that we're hearing now. And I think she will come out, because I think she'll do Olympic courage, and I think it'll come out. I mean, like I said, people can do what they want, but I'm thinking about going down on Sunday, even if it's just to see her, even if it's just to see LJ, just to, because, you know, whether I should or not, you know, COVID, but for me, it's a pain in my heart, and it's not just going to go away like that, you know. So many people, so many memories, and it's all through her why I love this club, and, you know, I can't do it anymore. And I really feel like crying, you know. I really feel like crying.
Can I just say something, John, before you wrap up? Hold on, let me just get it back up again. Just seen this tweet from the Mail, apparently. MUFC women players were unable to shower between training and meals before makeshift porta cabins were installed. While the nearest toilets were a 10-minute walk from their training pitch. Upgrades that were promised by the club have not happened. That was reported by the Mail. So
retweet that, Benny. Retweet that.
I have, pal. Yeah.
I just want to. We do want to wrap up there, because we have gone on for over 2 hours. I just want to say for myself. I mean, I'm just obviously. I've always defended Casey, even over like the small things, you know, and I think everyone who watches this will probably know that, like, I'll defend Casey over everything, and I very rarely bite on Twitter. But when it comes to Ollie and Casey, I always bite, you know, and I shouldn't, because I know that they're just winding me up. But when it comes to Casey, they just don't understand how much of a good job she's done. And we had Lee Birch on the show a few weeks ago explaining the amount of hard work it is to be a football manager of a women's team, because you don't have any support around you, because you just end up doing absolutely everything. You're basically mothers to the players, you're estate agents to the players, you know, if the players rent, and you know, you're basically the landlord to the players, you know, you're absolutely everything to these players. And Casey, what people don't realise, unless if you actually dig deep, is how hard Casey has worked and how much she's loved by the fan base and the players. And for her to leave, I'll just go back to what I've been saying throughout the whole show. She must be really unhappy or annoyed at this club for her to decide to leave this. And I just obviously want to wish Casey all the best. And I'm not sure if she's ever going to see this, but I'm sure word will get round, not about me, but the fan base as a whole. I haven't heard one person say that, good, let's get somebody else in. You know, it's all been really doom and gloom and all positive for Casey. So I'm really gonna miss not having Casey as a manager. Obviously, I've thought about it for like the last 2 or 3 seasons. How, you know, what's going to happen when Casey leaves? But I had no idea it was going to be the 3rd season. Especially because, in my opinion, I think we've had a good season. You know, we've closed that gap. So for her to choose to leave, it's just mind-boggling, and it must be really something massive in my opinion. We're going to go. We're back on YouTube again on Friday. We've got the Ben and Matt show on Saturday, so I'm sure we'll be on there again. And if you're free on Monday, please come and join us on Monday night. If not, the next available night you are free, please come on, and we can say more then. But thanks, Zoe, thanks, Ben, thanks, Natalie. More importantly, thanks to Deborah for joining at the very start with Natalie. So I really appreciate it. And we're going to wrap up, guys. But please keep in touch over Twitter, and we'll see you on Friday. Thank you, guys.
See you later, Barbara.
Thank you.